Hello and welcome. I'm Martha Morello, registered yoga teacher and certified personal trainer. This is going to be about 30 minutes of standing yoga postures. The lovely thing about doing yoga from a standing position is that you do not have to worry about any pressure or pain by coming down onto the knees or into a prone position on the floor. And you don't have to worry about that difficulty transitioning up, down, up, down. So we're going to practice in bare feet today. You'll want to have a yoga mat or some other non-slip surface if possible. We're going to start in mountain pose, the foundation for basically all other standing yoga postures. Mountain pose is simply begun by grounding the feet down into the floor, evenly distributing your weight on the right and left leg and on the front and back of the foot. See if you can find a really steady, solid stance here with the feet parallel to one another. So they're going to make like a number 11, toes in line with heels. They don't have to be exactly hips distance apart, but somewhere around there is preferable. And then stand up tall. Stack your shoulders on top of your hips and see if you can line your ears up with your shoulders. So you're neither protruding the head forward nor leaning back. Relax the hands down by your sides and take a couple deep breaths to prepare here. As you settle in, feel that connection between the bottoms of your feet and the floor. You're solid, stable, strong, and steady. The breath flows easily and naturally. And from a standing position, we have a great opportunity to allow the lungs to fully expand. So maybe think about drawing your attention to the lower part of the torso around the belly button and initiating your breath, your inhale from that area, letting it rise up to the collarbones, and then exhale and emptying all the way back down from the collarbones to the belly button. This is sometimes called 3-part breathing. Belly, ribs, chest, chest, ribs, belly. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 3, 2, and 1. Continue that pattern as best you can. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. Your eyes can be open or closed here. See if you can relax your jaw and your face. Enjoy that rejuvenating, calming sense that you get from these really deep, intentional breaths. Inhaling belly, ribs, and chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. When you're ready for a little movement, we'll start with some shoulder circles. We're going to rotate the shoulders towards the back. So lift the shoulders up towards your ears and then roll them down and back. We'll do that a few times, nice and slowly here. This yoga practice is really meant to complement a more vigorous physical practice. Maybe it's running, weightlifting, or even power yoga. This type of practice where we move a little more slowly and intentionally is the perfect way to complement physically and mentally those more vigorous practices. So no need to rush here. Go ahead and relax the shoulders down away from the ears and drop your left ear in the direction of your left shoulder. Let the head be nice and heavy. There might be kind of an urge to reach up and grab on to your head and yank it down, but see if you can resist that urge. Just let the weight of your head provide this stretch. Let gravity be your only assistance here. Keeping a relaxed jaw, we're going to begin to move the head. So the left ear stays down towards the shoulder. We're going to just rotate so your gaze is going to come down towards your left shoulder or towards the floor. Your chin moves closer to your shoulder. When you're ready, rotate back. Gaze comes forward. And then we'll rotate the chin up as far as is comfortable here. Notice the changing sensations in the neck muscles. Go ahead and bring the gaze back. Take your time here again, really slow movements. Turn your gaze down. And bring that gaze back up. Nice and slow. One more time. Chin comes down, gaze comes down towards the left shoulder. Good. And then bring that head back to center. Moving within a comfortable range of motion for your neck here. Gaze comes up and then back to center, and we'll lift the head back to its neutral position. Ooh. Maybe a deep breath and a shoulder roll. Feel good here. And we'll go the opposite direction. Right ear in the direction of the right shoulder. Pause and hold. And if you found that rotation of the cervical spine, that changing of the position of your gaze was not comfortable, please feel free to skip that altogether and just hold here in this lateral flexion, right ear to right shoulder. If you would like to add that rotation, if it feels okay on your neck, we'll begin when you're ready, rolling the chin down. Bringing the gaze back to center and rolling the chin up. Take your time, really slow here. We're gonna go 3 times total to match with the other side. Please feel free, if there is a position that really feels good to you, to hold there, pause, and just breathe into that spot. That's probably an area where your neck really needs a little release, and that's great. Always listen to the message that your body is sending you. And again, that might be no rotation at all. It might just be to hold lateral flexion, let your right ear drop towards your right shoulder and breathe into that stretch. If you're rotating, we've got one more, down and up. Good, and we'll meet back in neutral when you arrive. We'll all get there at our own time. So gaze comes back to center, and then ears stack over the shoulders, right where we began. Whew. Maybe deep breath and shoulder roll. Oh, wow, awesome. Whew. All right, let's take arms overhead now. We're going to interlace the fingers here overhead. Keep your pointer finger pointing towards the ceiling. So everything else is interlaced except for your pointer finger. We're going to pull the shoulders down away from the ears And then use your left hand to kind of pull your right arm over to the left, coming into a side body bend here. Now we're laterally flexing the entire spine as opposed to just the cervical spine. Keep your right shoulder blade pulling towards the back so that your rib cage is rolled open towards the ceiling. Take one more breath. Come back to center. Take a breath here. Relax. Pull those shoulders away from the ears again. Now your right hand is going to guide your left arm over to the right, opposite direction. Only go as far as feels good. Keep both feet grounded into the floor. Big stretch in the left side body. Your left shoulder is pulling to the back. Your left ribs are straight up towards the ceiling, right here, pointing up rather than concaving forward. Take one more breath. And pull back to center. Uninterlace your fingers, please, but keep the arms overhead. Turn the palms forward, and we'll pull the elbows down. We're just gonna do that a couple times. Reach up, pull down. Can you connect with your breath here? Inhale, exhale. Shoulders down and back. Inhale, exhale. One more of those. Great job. Reach up, pull down. Relax those hands down by your sides. Maybe another shoulder roll. Great job. We're gonna take now your just your left arm out to the side. Palm is gonna face forward, so your thumb is facing the ceiling here. Your right hand is just relaxed down by your side. Everything to the best of your ability is still nice and neutral and strong in mountain pose here. Shoulders over hips and ears over shoulders, feet grounded solidly into the floor. We're simply going to take this left arm that's outstretched and pull the back of your hand back just a little bit. It's not a big movement, but we're stretching the chest muscles here, right here across from the shoulder to the clavicles. Go ahead and come back forward. So we're just going to do that a few more times. Pull back as much as is comfortable for you till you feel stretch. And then come forward. Just two more of those. Press back. Yeah, and come forward. One more. Great job. Press back. Nice stretch in the chest. Good. And come forward. Super job. Relax that left arm down. If you like, you can shake it out or roll the shoulder, anything that feels good there. Right arm is going to come out to your side, just at the height of your shoulder, thumb facing the ceiling, palm facing forward. You might already begin to feel a stretch here just by stretching your arm out and reaching the fingertips away from your body. So that might be enough for you, and that's great. Hold and breathe into that big stretch across the front of your right side. If you want a little more, you can pull that hand back. Notice it might not be the same as the other side of the body, right? It might go a little further, it might not go as far, that's totally fine. 3 more, pull back. Good, and come back where it started, right in line with your shoulder. 2 more, press it back. Feel that stretch, keep breathing. It's a little tempting here to kind of hold the breath. See if you can continue to breathe, and we'll do 1 more. Great job, coming back, relax that right arm down, maybe shake it out, roll the shoulder, anything else that feels good. All right, 1 more little chest and shoulder opener before we move on, and this is called Yoga Mudra. Traditionally, this posture is done with your hands interlaced behind your back. That's not accessible to everybody, so I have a couple of different options for you. So you can interlace your fingers if that's available to you. If it's not, maybe just grab opposite elbows, like so. Pull the shoulders down and back. Or if you happen to have a yoga strap, a belt, a scarf, a dog leash, anything at all of that nature and size, you can take that strap behind you, one in each hand. Your fingertips are gonna face up and you're gonna grab onto that strap. You're gonna walk your hands as far in towards each other as is comfortable. And you'll notice here, I don't even have a strap in my hands, but I'm still getting that same sensation. So you can try this as well, just with a pretend strap if you don't have anything nearby to grab onto. So whatever one you choose, interlace fingers, grab opposite elbows, or a real or pretend strap, go ahead and pull the shoulders down away from the ears, pull the shoulder blades back towards each other, and then lift your hands away from your back. It might not be very much, especially if you have opposite elbows, you're not gonna have a whole lot of room to go, but you'll notice as you pull your hands up and away, you intensify this nice shoulder stretch. Don't hold the breath here. It's very tempting. Take maybe 2 or 3 more big breaths, squeezing those shoulder blades together, taking care not to shrug the shoulders, but rather pull them down away from the ears. So down and back. Great job. Bring your hands back towards you and then release your elbows, your strap, or your interlaced fingers. Maybe you shake out a little bit there. Great, great job. Super work. Alrighty, we're gonna widen our stance a tiny bit. So this is a little bit wider than hips distance. Maybe you think of it as shoulder width apart, whatever feels good and natural to you. It's not incredibly wide, but wider than hips distance. We're going to soften the knees. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what that means, right? A little bend in the knees. And we're going to begin to roll the body down. When you get to a stopping point, release your hands and let them dangle towards the floor. By no means do your hands have to touch the floor here. That is not a requirement. It's not even a goal. In fact, if you like, maybe you just grab opposite elbows here, creating a little frame, and let your head hang in that frame. This should feel really nice in the low back area. And if you like, some people like to sway side to side here. So this nice heavy torso that we have hanging, you can kind of just rock it side to side if that feels good. I could do that all day, but we'll move on. So when you're ready, if you have opposite elbows, just carefully release them. We're gonna make our way back to standing very, very slowly. So ground down through your feet, keep your knees soft, and begin to stack the vertebrae one by one. Carefully, slowly, intentionally coming back into a standing position. Ooh, lovely, great job. Alrighty, we're going to turn your left foot in the direction of the short side of your mat. And then we're gonna step your right foot back, maybe about 2 to 2.5 feet from your left foot. This is not an exact science, so find a stance, a position that feels comfortable to you. And we're gonna turn your hips towards your left foot, the one that's in front. This is your left leg, this is your right leg. Shoulders are on top of the hips, and we're in split stance. Your left toes are facing forward, your right toes are turned out, maybe 30 to 45 degrees from your left toes. Keep the spine nice and long here. Hinge at the hips, keep the feet grounded, and I want you to just fold until you find a hamstring stretch in your left leg, your front leg. You might not have to go very far. It might be just a little lean forward, and that's it for you. Maybe you start to walk your hands down that leg if you have a little more mobility there. That's great. Maybe you're a person that can touch the floor, but again, that is not required here. Keep both feet actively pressing down into the floor. Keep your right hip pulling in the direction of the front of your mat or towards your left foot. And to the best of your ability, keep your back flat here. Take one more breath. And go ahead and carefully stack shoulders back over the hips. Awesome. Now we're simply going to turn your right foot out towards the long side of your mat, or if you like math, 90 degrees from your left foot, if that's helpful. And we're going to keep both legs straight here, but we've turned the pelvis now so that it's lined up with the long side of your mat. We were turned and faced forward, and now we're facing the side. Bring your arms up to shoulder height, please, and reach your left hand kind of past the front of your mat. So reach as far as you can past the front of your mat. Yeah. Good. And then you're just going to drop your left hand. It might land on your thigh. It might land on your shin. Again, you might be a person that has the mobility to take this left hand all the way to the floor. But again, that is not a requirement. Just bring that left hand wherever it lands and bring the right hand up to make a nice straight line from left hand to right hand. Again, press down through the bottoms of both feet here. And I want you to think about rotating your torso. So almost like a little twist in the spine. You'll feel this nice opening in the side body. Take one more breath here. Engage your pelvic floor and your inner thighs to lift back up with stability and relax. Great job. Turn your left toes the same direction that your right toes are going. So now we're facing the long side of your mat, please. We're in a wide stance, a nice V stance here. This is wider than shoulder width apart should be. And if it's not, if you would please just kind of heel toe your feet out so that they're nice and wide. Turn your toes slightly out from your heels, just ever so slightly here. Ground down through the bottoms of the feet. Can you distribute your weight evenly on the front and the back of your foot? And we're going to hinge forward here. Great. Think about pressing your hips back, but not leaning back into your heels. So the weight is still evenly distributed on the bottoms of the feet, but your hips are pressing back, and that should feel really nice stretch in the backs of your legs. Again, here, if you'd like, you can take your hands down, but you do not have to. You can leave them on your hips or maybe on your thighs if that feels more comfortable. Continue to breathe. Keep feet grounded and hips pressing back. The crown of your head here is reaching forward so that your spine feels nice and long here. Again, in this position, your back is relatively flat. Take one more breath. Awesome job. And then come on up nice and steady. So use the inner thighs and the pelvic floor to ground down and then lift. And then let go. Super job. Alrighty, we're just going to transition into the other side, pyramid and triangle. So your left foot is going to turn in and your right foot is going to face the short side of your mat. Remember, to begin with, we're going to face that right foot. So we've turned the hips to be squared over the right leg that way. Your left leg is about 30 or 40 degrees away from your right foot. It's turned out slightly. Don't get too worried about the math and perfection there. That's no such thing. Really what I want you to feel is comfortable in this back foot. And then keeping the back nice and flat, we're gonna hinge forward until we feel a good stretch in this right leg. Behind the knee, the hamstring, maybe into the calf a little bit. Maybe you bring your hands down to your thigh. Maybe they come down to the floor. Keep the spine long. Keep both feet grounded, and certainly keep breathing. About one more breath here. Left hip now is pulling towards your right foot. Good. Ground down through those feet, coming up nice and steady. Take your time. Good. Coming into triangle, now we're opening up the pelvis towards the long side of the mat. In order to do that, we have to rotate the back foot a little bit. Again, don't worry about the exact angle of rotation. Just open up enough that now your hips are facing the long side of the mat rather than the short side of the mat. Arms come up to shoulder height. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Both legs stay straight here, and then we'll reach your right hand. Can you reach it past your right foot? And then drop right hand down, left hand up. Do not worry about where the right hand lands. Just let it rest on something. Maybe it's your thigh, maybe it's your shin, maybe it's the top of your foot or the floor. And then stack left shoulder on top of right shoulder. So your chest is facing out towards the long side of your mat, and your rib cage, the side of your body, is rotating up towards the ceiling. Take maybe 2 more breaths here. Great job. Remember to ground down through the feet, engage the inner thighs to come up safely. Relax. Great job. Again, please turn your right foot towards the long side of your mat, and then we'll turn the toes slightly out from the heels. Ground down. We're gonna find our way into a goddess squat, or sometimes this is called horse. What we're gonna do is just bend our knees, make sure your knees are going out, away from the midline of the body, in the same direction that your toes are going. Good, and then we're gonna find a little kind of place for our hands on our thighs here, and dip your right shoulder into the midline, and then dip your left shoulder into the midline. All the while, your knees are moving out, so we're getting a little inner thigh stretch, and then we're getting this nice spinal rotation as well. One more on each side, right shoulder, left shoulder. Good. Come on up, straighten those knees. Great job. We're gonna take one final big standing posture here that I really hope you enjoy. It's gonna stretch out the hips and the low back and the groin, and then we'll wind it down. So we're going to come back to this position, left foot facing the front or the short side of your mat, right foot facing the long side of your mat. We're gonna just widen our stance from that pyramid triangle stance that we were just in. So a little wider. The distance here between your feet is recommended to be approximately the length of one of your legs. So it's a fairly large stance. Go ahead and take your hands to your hips, and we're gonna bend deeply into your left knee. So go and then keep going, and then go a little further. We just want to be sure your knee doesn't come in front of your toes. If it does, just kind of shimmy your foot out, and then you can lunge a little more deeply without putting any pressure on that left knee. So you want your left knee pretty much right over top of your left ankle. Your right leg is straight. Your shoulders are over your hips, and your hips are facing the long side of your mat. Now I want you to imagine your thighs spiraling from the inside out to open up this space here in the inner thighs. Great. And we're gonna come up and down. Up and down. Can you connect with your breath here? Inhaling as you lift and exhaling as you lunge. Just one more. Great job. Come on up, straighten that knee. Really big wide stance here. Final thing on this side, we're gonna take your right hand, tuck it behind your back. Your left hand's gonna reach up, 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 up. And a big side body stretch here. Keep breathing. One more breath. Go ahead and untuck that hand. Bring the arms back to shoulder height. Relax. Switch sides. Great work. Final thing on this other side. Right toes facing the short side of your mat. Left toes facing the long side. Really big stance, a lot of distance between your feet. Great job. Bend into your right knee. See where you land. How do you need to adjust? If possible, maybe bring that right foot a little closer to the front of the mat or what have you. Great job. Bring the hands to the hips. Right knee's over the ankle. Good. And then the inner thighs are moving out away from each other. So opening up. Really actively feel that pulling apart. And then we'll go up and down for 5. Lift. Lower. All the while, those inner thighs are rotating out away from the midline of the body. Creating space, right? Big opening and expansion happening in that area of the body. Great job. We got 2 more. 2. And last one. Great job. Come on up. Super wide stance. Ground down through those feet. Tuck your left hand behind your back. Reach your right hand up. Take your gaze up to your right thumb. Big side body stretch and breathe here. Reach, reach with those fingertips, and one more breath. Come on back. Arms at shoulder height. Relax them down. Turn your right foot to face the long side of your mat. Carefully heel, toe to come back to center. Let's shake out the legs. A little ankle release that I like to do here. It's quite simple. Maybe have something you can hold on to here, and you're just gonna kind of roll over to the top of the foot and then tuck the top of the foot. Big, great, really sweet stretch for the front of the ankle there. To counter that stretch, you can find a little calf stretch, so lifting the toes up towards the ceiling and kind of sitting back, pulling the toes in towards your shin. And switch sides when you're ready. Tuck those toes, come into the top of the foot, little ankle stretch here. And giving those stabilizing ankles some love for all that standing, stretching, and work that we did. Flip that around. Kind of sit the hips back. Good, pull the toes in towards the shins. Good, coming up. Great job. If you would, please stand tall. Take a big deep breath, reach both arms up overhead. Exhale, circle the hands around. Deep breath, reach up. Exhale, circle around. Deep breath, reach up. This time, press the palms together. And as you exhale, bring the thumbs to the chest. Touch the thumbs to the sternum here. Pull the elbows back. Squeeze the shoulder blades slightly. Feel that nice, broad, wide open chest. Relax the jaw. Soften the gaze. Unfurrow the brows. There is a light, a confidence, a power that resides within you right here. I see that light in you, and I bow to you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this standing yoga series. Have a great